Local, late breaking. This is a special edition of WBAL TV 11 News, the trial of Officer Porter.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Stan Stovall.
And I'm Deborah Weiner. Tonight, we reflect on this first week of the trial of Officer William Porter. He is one of 6 Baltimore police officers charged in the death of Freddie Gray.
Freddie Gray suffered a spinal cord injury while in police custody back on April 12th. He died a week later in the hospital. The jury selection began Monday in Officer Porter's trial. A pool of roughly 150 prospective jurors were considered. A jury was seated Wednesday. Opening statements followed, and prosecutors then started calling witnesses. The state called 8 witnesses on Thursday. And today, prosecutors played a videotape recording of the interview Officer Porter gave to investigators.
11 News I-Team reporter David Collins has been inside the courtroom all week. And David, bring us up to date on today's proceedings.
Good evening, Deborah. Prosecutors used William Porter's own words to help make their case. And as Stan mentioned, they played a videotape recording of Porter's statements that he made to investigators in this case. Now, his tone really came across as pretty nonchalant. He recounted asking Gray if he needed medical attention, and Gray responded yes. A court testimony indicated Gray complained he couldn't breathe, asked for help to even get off the floor of the police wagon. When asked on the videotape why he didn't call a medic, Porter said Gray didn't tell him about a specific medical problem. Now, Porter told detectives he advised the van driver, Caesar Goodson, that Central Booking wouldn't accept Gray, and they agreed. He says they both agreed to take him in the police wagon to a hospital, but they decided they first had to pick up another prisoner. By the time they picked up the detainee and dropped him off at Western District, Freddie Gray was unresponsive. He wasn't breathing. Porter did not call a medic even at that time, according to the prosecution testimony. Another officer did, and the defense told the jury, though, that Porter made sure that Gray's airway was clear until a medic arrived.
So, David, let's go back to earlier in the week. On Wednesday, we got a sense, if you will, of how both sides would approach this trial during opening statements. So how are the prosecution and defense proceeding from this point?
Well, one big piece, and they don't want to call it evidence because they didn't want the media to take a look at this in person. They brought in material. It was the van that Freddie Gray drove in, and this is important. They took a field trip to see the van, and it also will help them put the testimony about the van into perspective. Now, during opening statements, 2 different versions of what happened to Freddie Gray in that van emerged. First of all, the prosecutors say because he wasn't buckled, he couldn't brace himself and his body pressed up against his neck, similar to what would happen if you dove into a shallow base of water. The defense claims he hurt himself and said it was the van driver's responsibility to make sure that Freddie Gray was buckled. It was kind of interesting. A lot of courtroom observers thought, wow, they really kind of threw the van driver under the bus in that. Now, the defense also laid the groundwork to put Porter on the stand by providing some personal information about the officer, why he became an officer, and some of his family life.
Yeah, and David, can you give us a quick idea of what to expect on Monday when court resumes?
Well, judging from the pace of the trial, it wouldn't be surprising if prosecutors rested on Tuesday, and that's not something we know definitively. Today, the assistant medical examiner took the stand. She told the jury the cause of death was a spinal injury and the manner of death a homicide. Dr. Carol Allen will be back on Monday. The defense is expected during cross-examination to really go after her version of this chain of events, and when the defense gets its turn to present its case, they're expected to bring in an expert to definitely refute her testimony. Stan?
All right, David Collins reporting live from Courthouse East in downtown Baltimore. Thank you, David. Deborah?
Stan, a key element of the trial has to do with seatbelts in the police vans. As the I-Team's Barry Sims reports, documents obtained through a public information request show the Baltimore Police Department had been pushing officers to belt prisoners for several years.
Days before the April 12th arrest of Freddie Gray, Baltimore City Police issued a new seatbelt policy, updating an old one written in 1997, which allowed officers some discretion on belting a prisoner. The new policy took it away. Issued April 3rd, the new policy ordered the detainee is secured with the provided seatbelt or restraining device. But well before that policy hit paper, the police department had been on a buckle-up campaign in transporting prisoners, according to documents obtained through a public information request. In 1999, Police Commissioner Tom Frazier issued a memorandum which read, ensure that prisoners transported in prison transportation vehicles are secured with a seatbelt. No exceptions allowed. The campaign stepped up in 2012 when a random inspection found officers belted no one. 18 prisoner transport vehicles were inspected in the audit, and none of the prisoners were wearing seatbelts. In 2014, the department doubled down with even more inspections, due, a commander wrote, to the vast number of civil lawsuits filed against the Baltimore City Police Department from prisoners complaining that they were injured because of falling off of the seats while being transported to central booking. Commissioner Anthony Batts ordered an update of the seatbelt policy to include holding officers accountable for failing to secure a passenger with a seatbelt. The department produced a video to help train officers in seatbelt use. The message seemed to get across. The next inspection in September of 2014 found 100% compliance. 7 months later, officers would allegedly ignore the policy when transporting Freddie Gray, handcuffed, shackled, but unsecured. Barry Sims, WBAL TV 11 News.